discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Good afternoon, family. Grand Rising. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Happy Thursday. It is the 2nd of October. Happy new month still. Hope you're doing amazing today. And of course, hope you're welcome to another episode of the Plan of Show. My name is Joby. In case you have the first time, we have Mr. Black of Fire as well, who's behind the camera.
Hello, everybody. Hello to J.O. Hey, Busana to J.O.B.Y.
You know, I'm giving colors. October is for Halloween. I'm giving colors.
I know. Joby got one of our hats on again.
Yeah, start to ever with us on the radio, on YouTube, BitChute and Rumble, and to those who catch this replay on Spotify and Spreaker as well, Karibuni. Today shall be talking about
Spreaker. No, but you ain't been on Spreaker. The last time I was on Spreaker, that was the last show I did like a month ago.
I've been on Spreaker since Friday, literally.
Oh, okay. I didn't look at it. Okay. Okay. All right.
You be clean, kid, before you jump on me. Karibu sana. We shall be talking about privatization of public assets and how this will and is destroying Africa, because it's something that is actually happening, and outcome effect is something that people don't understand how this is going to be effective to the people, the majority of the people, especially the public, the citizens who suffer, especially this privatization of public assets. So, of course, starting with that, we're going to be talking about Kenya and Tanzania, how they've privatized the port, which is actually, how do you even privatize a port? This is just the highest damn thing I've heard today when I was just looking at it. How do you privatize your own port?
Very dumb. Privatize it, Joe, because you are a moron, and the thieves out there, the wolves out there want these assets because it keeps them in risk and keeps your people in poverty. You never privatize your own assets. They'll come, oh, you'll get better management. It's all a scam. Oh, you'll get better management. So what they do is, the people that privatize it, that bought it, get all the money. They lower the wages of the workers there and really almost bankrupt the system. So it's actually destroying your economics. But since the black man in Africa has become such a weakling and a moron, they've uneducated their people on purpose. Who said, oh, privatization is the way to go. Everybody knows they get worse service. That's what they did. And that's why America's falling apart. The scam was given in the 1980s by President Reagan, who was a puppet, of course. All these presidents of America are all puppets. It's destroyed the country. America's been hollowed out. It is bankrupt. If you don't understand, go look at the videos being shown just a couple of weeks ago. People in the streets, they've destroyed the country. And everybody knows it now. But I said this years ago. For white men, you're racist. So people can't tell you that you're being fucked up the ass. People can't tell you the truth. Now you're all crying. And the country's done. So now they're moving to Africa that has the most assets. They're going to, this is when they're going to try to start building manufacturing in Africa, as long as they can own it. And have Africans as slaves again. Because the Africans are kind of like, oh, I'm now making $4 an hour. They'd be like, yay, you're a slave, moron. They bought your industry. Now they still control you, stupid. You're supposed to own what's in your country. That's supposed to be privatized by outside people. When they give African that fake thing of investment. Oh, we get investments. So go ahead, Joe.
So let me start with this first video. Of course, we should also talk about also how every American president has played a role on also destroying the African continent, and especially
Yeah.
regarding what we were discussing yesterday by getting rid of real leaders, what they're trying to do, like for Atibrahim Traore, literally in Burkina
Yeah, they kill
Faso,
them.
creating wars, and of course destroying leaders who are all about Pan-Africanism and uniting Africans, starting with
Yeah.
that is Patrice Lumumba, how they use the closest person to him to just get rid of him. So yeah, we shall be talking about that and much more.
One of Kenya's
Like that?
crown jewels in
Yeah.
state enterprise, the Kenya Pipeline Company, is now officially gone for good. In a heated and chaotic parliamentary session punctuated by walkouts, finger-pointing, and accusations of backroom dealing, the National Assembly approved a plan to privatize up to 65% of KPC through
They
a
found
public
this.
share.
This how you got a bunch of corrupt morons. So understand. I need Africans to understand the democracy they gave you is fake. It's a phony. The Europeans are vultures. You are going with a fake political system and trying to impoverish you. Your leaders are all morons. You need to know this. All your political class are morons and puppets. All of them. It's not just Kenya. It's all Africans. The idiots put in power by white people to make sure they're able to rob and steal out your country. Okay? So, but you give a nice veneer of democracy. All these politicians, most of them are stupid. But all of them are bought and paid for. So they just push along whatever the white man says. White man said, now it's time to own Kenya's petrol. So that means your prices are going to go up. And it's going to impoverish Kenyan people and make white people wealthier. Because they're not going to own it. The white man owns this. So you're making them wealthier by impoverishing your own people. And you're saying somehow this is a benefit. Go ahead, Joby.
Completely giving away the country. That is what they're doing.
Exactly. But that's why this is why you have to have a revolution and you take all of it back. Say we're nationalizing all of it. Go ahead, Joby.
A video where Patrice Lumumba was saying, if we're not careful, we are on the verge of neo-colonialism because of the leaders. Because this is one of the ways. Not only are these people declaring how they want to come to Africa and settle, they are actually also being given. They are being given Africa, like they're completely given to them. You know, you sign you sign away right here, and it's gone. You just put your sign right here. We're gonna give you a couple billions. It's gone, and before we realize it, white people completely own the countries.
Exactly, Joby. That's how it works. Exactly. So remember when they sold the electric? They told, oh, we're going to sell our electric company, Kenya's electric company, and the prices went up. They didn't go down, Joby. They went up, and you still have power outages. So nothing got better, and it's more expensive. So what was the benefit to the Kenyan people? Nothing.
Nothing, because the tokens actually they are running super quick. Personally, I don't even have electronics in my house, but the way tokens have been running lately, I'm like, what the hell? Is this
because they come in and raise the prices because it's about theft, Joby. The morons have allowed white people to come in and steal the country, and it doesn't benefit Kenyans. They just, they'll tell you all the same propaganda. Oh, I had to teach the Mora, let them learn this. The companies are ran bad, so we're going to privatize them to get them more efficient. That's all a scam. It's all a lie. They don't run more efficient. It's about stealing more money from people.
Yep, exactly.
The eyes have it.
Supporters are calling it economic reform. Critics, however, are calling it daylight robbery.
Exactly. Economic. They always say the same fake words, Joby. It's going to be economic reform. All selling off my shit is economic reform.
This issue of Kenya Pipeline will bring a lot of excitement Kenyans will buy in the IPO, but after the announcement of the financial results in February for the full year, the share company will collapse and the share price will collapse. And this is the reason. The current investor in the NSC are not buying assets. They are buying revenue.
The government plans to raise 100 billion Kenyan shillings by offloading a majority stake in KPC through an IPO on the Nairobi Security Exchange. But the remaining 35% will stay under state control, supposedly to preserve strategic oversight of the country's energy lifeline. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah led the pitch, framing the sale off as a win for transparency, investor confidence, and democratized ownership.
That's how you know. That's how you know he's a puppet. It's not a win. A win how? Just a win so the white man knows that we're selling off our shit. He's telling you some investor confidence. The white man stealing your shit. That's what he's saying. But he's trying to use flowery words for investor confidence. What's all this nonsense? Because they know that Kenyan people are not educated and don't know what the fuck is going on when you're being robbed. This is a bank robbery.
True.
This is a heist. Go ahead, Joe.
And it's good for the Honorable Udo to speak to the gallery and excite those that he seeks to excite. The matter of inclusivity, transparency, and accountability have become cardinal.
Exactly. Inclusivity, transparency, and accountability. Those three words, those are things they don't like applying. They don't like transparency. You don't want to be transparent with people telling us clearly how this is going to be effective. Instead, you want to say this is an economic reform. Using English words to look like you're really sounding important, yet you're really a moron. For real. You can't critically think and see this is completely you giving away your country.
They know what it is, Joe, but they're getting paid to do it. They're the puppets while they're there. They know what. Listen, when you see them saying things, they know they're lying, Joey. They don't care. They have, they don't have foresight. They don't care that they're selling out. You understand? We got Negroes that don't care about selling us out, Joe. They don't care. They're getting a little kickback, a little bit of money. They don't care about being traitors. They don't care.
In these laws.
But the opposition isn't buying this narrative.
The grounds for this privatization is all crooked process, Honorable Speaker. All crooked. All skewed. You are told they're spending lawsuits amounting to 5.7 billion. Your guess is good as mine. Who are the claimants? Who are the lawyers? And who are the brokers?
Exactly.
United opposition MPs have come out swinging, branding the process as rushed, shady, and deeply flawed.
It is flawed.
I will focus on two issues. And the first one is, ladies and gentlemen, the bill I'm holding is called the Privatization Bill 2025. If you look at this bill, it talks about one of the key elements of this bill is the principle of transparency and accountability. How to ensure that the whole process is transparent and accountable.
It's a lie.
Look at the way that things have been done. You privatize Kenya Pipeline, and then immediately you bring to the House the privatization bill. That is a serious omission.
And here's why they say this is not just a bad deal, but a betrayal to the country.
It is, and that's why Ruto's there. So he's their puppet, so shit can get stolen, right? Understand that. So understand it. You don't privatize your industries. Go ahead, Joe.
Framework. They argue the sale is moving ahead without a clear law to govern the privatization. There was no thorough debate, no scrutiny, just rolled legislation.
Of course not.
Practically, we should have done with the privatization bill so that we ensure that we have the right legal framework before we do the privatization.
And he's right.
The second point.
That's why it's been pushed through. He's right. Why is this going so fast? Why can't we discuss this? Who is behind this privatization shit? Who are the players? Who are the ones that control Ruto and put them in power.
Yep.
Let's see what's going on. Let's analyze. Okay, what are you saying these are benefits for Kenyan people? Okay, let's do an analysis and let's get an audit up in here. Let's get a forensic audit in here and see where's the money going to be going. How's it benefit Kenyan people? What are the pros and cons? Okay, what are the pros and cons? Because if it's a great deal, we should be able to what? Investigate it. It should take about 6 months to give a real investigation. They don't want that because they know it's no good for Kenyan people. It's the stealing of the country. Good.
How much money are we expecting to get from the privatization of Kenya Pipeline?
Exactly.
It is 100 billion. That's what they are trying to, by selling that strategic intervention.
Only 1 billion. They only got, imagine, only one.
Nothing. That's nothing. Sure said. Yeah, because they're gonna keep whoever's gonna make, whoever's gonna control is gonna make more than 1 billion, and probably more than 1 billion in a year. They'll keep. And this is the dumbest. That's how you know. That's why they want to keep you uneducated African people. School fees. You don't know what the fuck is going on with these morons. But you're so caught up in your tribal nonsense. He's part of my tribe. And this no good bastard is a dirty sellout.
Strategic investment in this country, we will only raise 100 billion. Now, if you look at our budget deficit this financial year, because they have factored this into their budget, it is about 870 billion. So you ask yourself, is it worth it really selling such a strategic investment?
No, it's not.
To raise only 100 billion, while you are going to borrow 876 billion from Kenyans. It means any right-thinking Kenyan would have said, because this is very strategic for the country, let's get another way of raising this money. And that's what we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, and Kenyans.
You would never say this as a country because it's to go against your national security, right? See, your country has national security issues. You would never sell critical infrastructure because it would go against your national security. That other people own such industries in your country. You would never allow it. But Africa, because it's controlled by outsiders, well, he ain't bring up the national security issue. This is a national security. Everybody told you, even America told you something stupid. TikTok is a national security issue. We must have it. We must own it. Some goddamn fucking social media site. But Kenya say they don't supposed to own their own pipeline, which is real national security. You understand? Go ahead, Joe.
Good for the country.
Number 2, parliamentary bypass. Now, the order to discuss the sale reportedly slid into the House schedule at 3 p.m. bypassing approval from the Committee on House Business. Opposition MPs claim only pro-government lawmakers were allowed to speak before the vote.
You find it there. The order paper does not have the sale of Kenya Pipeline. The sale of Kenya Pipeline has been sneaked in today.
Exactly. I'd rather say sneak. That's how you know it's fucking sneak. I'd rather say they snuck it in. Yep. That's how you know this is criminal. They're not trying to allow you to debate on it because they're trying to steal it. That's why they snuck it in. They're not trying to have you actually have time to look at the legislation, vote on it, and say, hey, we need further study. No, they're trying to sneak it in so they can steal it. You understand this? Go ahead, Joe.
Minutes after members were already in the chamber. And you see, members, when they come to the House, they look at the order paper so that they can see what is coming in for debate. And then they will deal with those issues that are of concern to their constituents or maybe the committee they are in. And also things that are critical like the sale of Kenya Pipeline would have actually had almost full House. But
exactly.
It was critical in the afternoon. And that is why we are complaining.
And Ruto was the other day on media all over saying,
we know it was Ruto. I told you, his puppet. I told you. You know, his puppets, his masters told him we want that fucking pipeline, nigga. We want it, and you better get it. That's what he's been told to do. That's why it was snuck in. And like I said, this is a critical industry. You don't never set up no critical industry to investors. This goes against national security. Period. This is a pipeline. It's not TikTok. This is goddamn Kenyan industry. You don't sell that off to nobody. Go ahead.
Are being bribed. I want to ask him, has he bribed them today? Because how do you give us an order in the morning?
Exactly. He knows what's going on.
Since yesterday, we know what we are discussing, and then you sneak in something. It's so pathetic that this government has been captured by the executive, and they are working for Ruto. They are not working for the people who are.
Exactly. They haven't captured. Ruto's captain, but Ruto's working for other people, lady. Ruto is a puppet, lady. Yes, the government has been captured. Exactly. But Ruto ain't the Ruto isn't the puppet master. He's the puppet. So yeah, the government's been captured, lady. Yeah, obviously.
Them. It's so sad. And then when we want to debate, you sit there, you put your card, you raise your hands, because even a chance to speak is so skewed. Because of course, the speaker today is in the broad-based. If it is not him, it is Wetangula himself. All of them, they are that side, so we don't expect any justice to be done to Kenyans in this house because it's actually captured by the executive.
Number 3, billions for lawyers. Now, whispers of nearly 5 billion Kenyan shillings in legal fees to unnamed lawyers handling the deal have sparked fresh corruption concerns.
Kenya Pipeline inauzwa na tayari bunge imepitisha kuuzwa. Nani alihusishwa? Kwa ripoti ambayo kamati imepeana, wamesema bilioni 5.7 zilipwe kwa mawakili. Na iko kwenye report ambayo iko kwa order paper ya leo. 5.7 billion. Hii ni pesa inatosha kushughulikia mambo ya shamba.
You got to translate it for us, Joe. We don't know what
I'm waiting for him to finish so I can translate.
Pesa italipwa watu na haijafanywa verification ijulikane nani anaenda kulipwa. Motion ambayo imepitishwa inapatia serikali nguvu. Kwa nini mnaleta motion ya aina hiyo na kuna privatization bill ambayo iko kwa bunge? Si bill ingepitishwa ndio baadaye sasa muanze kuuza kulingana na kanuni na sheria zile zimewekwa.
Yeah, so he's saying literally lawyers have been bribed. There's a 5 point something, they mentioned 5 point something billion that is set aside literally to just pay these lawyers. I don't know if it's for the lawyers. He's mentioned the lawyers literally. And he's just saying the same thing. Why wasn't the motion presented to the parliament first? It was sneaked in during other motions when other motions were going on. Why was it sneaked in the parliament? And they want this to just be, it has already been passed. It's not even a discussion because I'm looking at another article on this other side 2 hours ago.
Wow.
They've already done it. It's already been passed. They're saying that the MPs have approved the Kenya Pipeline privatization, literally. So
you need to find out all the money. What investors are going to buy it? I bet it's not nobody black. I bet that. I bet they're either British, English, Germany, but they're white. You better believe that.
Of course. I love the way the other video explains, and you see, because it's not Dangote. You don't see no Aiko Dangote Nigeria. You don't see no Tinibu or anyone else. It's white.
Ni vizuri pia niseme imepropose mambo kadhaa, lakini ya muhimu zaidi ni kusema bei ya mafuta leo ikiongezeka, ambaye tunaamini itaongezeka. Sasa ni mtu binafsi ndiye atakuwa kitawala mambo ya Kenya Pipeline.
Number 4, backdoor politics. Critics say the privatization is not about reform. It is about lining pockets and offloading responsibility. Ruto's administration, they allege, is trying to shift liability to private investors in case KPC's books turn out messier than expected.
Thank you. I think one of the biggest challenges we have is if you look at the order paper that was presented today, there are some shadowy figures that have been included.
I was saying you got to audit it first. Exactly. You got to audit. Where's the audit? I want a goddamn forensic audit. I don't want no regular audit. I want a forensic audit. Go ahead, Joby.
Will be the first to be paid. Billions of shillings. We have lawyers who we do not know who they are. We don't know the cases that they participated in. There are people who are listed that in case it's privatized, they should be paid huge amounts of money, billions of shillings. And I think other than that, the fact that you are giving someone leeway to control the price of fuel that if they decide to increase the price of fuel,
that's what's going to happen. Exactly. That's what I just said. Yo, you know, it is going to get increased because the white man's own it. He's going to make it same way your electricity. It's going to increase. But the Kenyans are going to be barely able to afford it. And so, yeah, because you got psychopaths running your industries. They don't give a fuck about nobody can't afford. This is the price, and you pay or you get none. So now you're put back in slavery again. Okay? Because your puppets have now sold the country out. You better get in the ball quick, Kenya, because these morons are destroying you. That's what's coming. Go ahead.
Be the ones who will suffer. Two, we've had cases when we know, if you look at Kenya Railways, the privatization of Kenya Railways, we've had cases where they come in, strip assets, they sell, and they leave a shell. This is the only pipeline we have as a country, and I think it's paramount that if it's to be privatized.
That's the only pipeline. I told you, that means that is a critical asset, and that goes against national security. Yes or no? You don't never sell that. That's the only pipeline you've got, so that's that's not even a consideration. The answer is no. That's the only one you got in keep. The answer is no. Never. That's a national security threat. You don't allow nobody foreigners to own your fucking pipeline. They can shut it off and do what they want to do and destroy the country. That's an absolutely never. Sound crazy? Sound crazy as cat shit. Go ahead, Joe.
Involved, public participation must be done, and everyone must give their input. Secondly, we cannot sit in parliament and we are not even given a chance to contribute, because those of us who are there, we were not given a chance, we were not accorded a chance, so that we could air our views and say whether we support or reject. And I think there are very many people who would have been willing to respond to this matter, because it's a matter of national importance. So, like my colleague is saying, it's not something that will take sitting down.
Think about national security.
We need arbitration by the judiciary so that they can clarify and decide whether the procedure is correct and whether the sale of Kenya pipeline was that important.
They won't do that because the judiciary, the executive, all of them are being bought out already by Ruto.
Exactly.
Things actually are happening, but it is crazy. We're dealing with it's crazy, man. I can't
criminal.
The mindset of these people. It's insane.
It's criminal.
It's crazy. They have gone to Tanzania as well. So as we see Kenya, what is happening, of course, because remember, that is not the only, he has mentioned the Kenya Railways, he has mentioned the Kenya pipeline, which is now what they have already approved.
They want to do this all over Africa, Joe. They want control of Africa again. All of it.
In 2023, remember when he became president in 2022, immediately when he came into power, he started privatizing other assets.
Assets, exactly. Yeah, I remember because we got this show that was trying to explain to Demore what it means. No, it's about the efficiency. No, it's not. That's con game they told you, young man. These are lies. They didn't make anything more efficient. They made things more costly because that's the psychopaths in your system draining all the money out of it by not putting them back. Because if your lights change and you still got power on all the time, the lights still go off. Oh, they still go off. But now you pay more for the same fucked up system.
Exactly. So let me share this.
Port privatization, or private operations of port activities, has been a system which has gained great popularity in recent past. Before I go too far, let's take a moment to look at the importance of a port to a country. Ports are an essential part of the connection on international trade.
You never privatize your port,
the main terminal, also providing services of goods, transportation, and raw materials. Without a port, large parts of the economy of the world would be stuck. Ports that thrive in the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea are major trade routes and international supply chains. They are located in the oil and gas supply lines and the part of the plan of a new trade of routes created by China known as Belt and Road. Major ports in East Africa have the following capabilities in the TEU scale. 20-foot equivalents, as in 20-foot shipping containers being units of cargo of capacity at a port. To put this into perspective, let us look at Shanghai. Shanghai, what it does in 5 days, Dar es Salaam does in 1 year. What Shanghai does in 10 days, Mombasa does in 1 year. The 10 most significant ports in the world are found in 3 countries, China, Singapore, and Holland. Let's talk about what's going on back home. We're back though. Despite many African countries having port infrastructure, the operations and the efficiency of these ports has become a problem. This is due to the lack of modern equipment despite having a geographical advantage. As a continent, it is blessed with raw materials in abundance. Due to this fact, it has been an excellent stimulus for countries with resources and experience like Singapore, Netherlands, and China. Ports in Tanzania and Kenya face similar challenges such as congestion, outdated infrastructure, and competition from other ports in the region. Modern ports require accessibility and servicing ships with large containers and an ability to have economies of scale which affect international business. Basically, you can't be a big player in the trade and logistics game without infrastructure and the operation of large.
Pause this is bullshit. You can't. So I already know this is propaganda right here. Now you know what the fuck you gonna say this is propaganda. So you're talking about being a port of scale. You name it to economies don't have not even economies of scale. Kenya has no economy of scale. Tanzania even worse. They don't have economies of scale. Why do we have ports of scale? They don't have economies of scale. They haven't scaled any real economy, so they shouldn't have ports of scale. You say, oh, it's good. They should come privatize their ports so other people can. So that what does that do for the country? Oh, nothing. What does it do for the people in the country? Oh, nothing. It allows outside influence comes in, controls the ports, and make money off their ports. So there's no benefit to Tanzania nor Kenya, but it puts money in the crooked politicians' pockets. Because they have not built an economy of scale. Go ahead, I'm going to see what the hell he says. Go ahead.
African countries also open their doors for foreign investment, benefiting investors
See,
and owners.
fake foreign, I told you, fake foreign investment. And I tell you, sorry, everybody starting to understand, Africa don't need no fucking investment. Because Africa has everything everybody wants and needs. Why the fuck would I need some foreign investment for what?
It's crazy that Africans don't see all this. Why people just always have to keep on running back to us to benefit themselves? You know,
exactly.
It's crazy. How is this just not so eye-opening to many people, and especially the majority of us? How can't we just see between the lines our leaders are being controlled and the benefits? It's always been about the white people. They always run back to us. You're calling Africa shitty, but you still want to come back to the continent and benefit from it.
That's where the money's at.
Taking the public assets.
Privatization rears its head, like in countries like Kenya and Tanzania. The competition between the two East African countries and the battle to have a better port in the region reached the stage of the president of Tanzania having to explain to the general public that
it wouldn't be a competition if these dumbass morons were Pan-Africanists and they united. They would control what they call the Indian. I don't like call them Indian Ocean. They would have control of commerce globally. If these doopy morons would unite, but everybody knows that these niggas are backward and stupid. They refuse to unite. They refuse to be Pan-African. So you can play both of them off each other and call it competition, and everybody else wins but the African. If they would unite, they can build both ports together and then control levels of industry from China to India. They can control it. But no, Africans are too stupid to realize, hey, your unity makes you wealthy, dummy. Yeah, figure that. Not competition. Your unity makes you wealthy. That's your competition. People can feed up. That's divide and conquer. They win. Go ahead, Joby.
Presented to investors a more lucrative deal with more ports, so the contract had to be done in haste.
Wenzetu kwa kuona malumbano yetu mmeona.
It has to be done in haste. This lady's a moron.
Kwenda kule kule. Na lile jumba lililowekwa bendera ya Tanzania.
Remember, John Magufuli said no to these deals because he know they were stupid. That's why they put this puppet bitch up in there. That's why she's there. Go ahead.
Imewekwa bendera ya jirani. Sasa Tanzania tumeuza. Wale jirani wamekimbilia kule kufanya nini?
Approximately 95% of the ocean-related business in Tanzania is handled at the port of Dar es Salaam. The port serves 6 landlocked countries including Malawi, Zambia, Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. In Kenya, it was claimed to be the contract that would be signed would have the foreign investor manage the stations of KPA, as in Kenya Ports Authority, including the new port of Lamu.
Tuhakikishe ya kwamba vile tuna develop Mombasa ndivyo tuna develop Lamu Port. Na tuko na soko kubwa ya Lamu Port.
And everybody's clapping for Africans never to grow the fuck up. Like I told like a child. You're supposed to develop your own ports with your own people and benefit from it. The African's always a child, a moron. People come in and build it for us and do it for us and do everything for us and give us a little bit of money. Oh, yay, yay, yay. When country stays poor, me as a politician, I get my kickbacks, my bribe, my cheat, and it's great, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why you're disrespected globally. You are a fucking moron. All you had to do was take control, go down and talk to your actual people. You know, the black person that looks just like you, the black person that looks just like you and speaks the same language, Swahili. You know, you go down and say, listen here, since we got all the minerals, everybody needs it. So what we'll do is we'll say, hey, you want the minerals? This is what you're gonna do. You know, we don't need no investment. What you're gonna do, you're gonna build these ports for us, and we'll give you a discount on whatever minerals you need for your country to fucking survive. That's what you'll do, or you'll go under. See, that's called real hardball for not being a bootlick. That's called power. I'm African. I control all the power. You need what I got. I don't need shit you got. Nothing. So if you want my fucking shit in my backyard, this is what you're gonna do. And you're not gonna have no fucking choice. See, if you unite, because of course they're gonna try to overthrow you or whatever they do. Nah, there ain't gonna be no overthrown here. This is what's gonna happen. Okay? You're gonna build it, period. You're gonna build at a discount. We're gonna pay for it, but you're not gonna own none of the shit. Because you're gonna help us build it so we can have what? We're gonna discount the minerals that you need for your fucked up country to survive. Because you're gonna build those ports. And then, since we've been behind, technically, you're gonna teach all my people how to build them so they don't need to hire you. Because only Africans will work at African ports. So you're gonna leave the technology here so my people will know it. And then they'll advance on more technology as they learn it. You got that? Because remember, no Chinese, no Indians, none of that shit working at these ports. This is Africa, so this is African jobs for African people. And that's non-negotiable. That's called power. Africans, they understand power. You own all the cars, but you always want to bend over and grab your butt cheeks. You own all the power, but you don't never utilize power. You always want to bend over and grab your fucking ankles like a hoe.
Anyway, as we continue, of course, looking at also how all these problems, how they began. Yesterday, I said, because the only way we can have that example of what you're saying, Ibrahim Traore is doing it. And I love how he said,
yeah, put power in your face, finally.
He said they understand what we're building, not really his words, but what, and I believe I understood what he was saying. They are gonna keep on trying attacking him because
of course
is what they've been long telling Africans we can't do it without them. And this is what exactly you can see now these other leaders are trying to keep on doing. You wanna keep on being a white man's, puppet. Yeah, puppet. You wanna keep on taking orders instead of you making the orders and arranging your own house. You wanna see the white man smiling again to the Mola, and because you like when you also smile to him, like it's just super cool. So Ibrahim Traore is the only person who can actualize that, and he said it's gonna take time before we even get to where we really want to get, but we're not gonna stop.
Of course, but exactly. In that meeting that Joey showed yesterday, come on, as developed in 2 years, 2 or 3 years, we will be developed. Period. We're not asking no more for permission by Africa. And I'm glad because he told you the truth. Not none of these fake clubs that we're 200 and 300 years behind in Africa. We got all the resources, but we're behind. Does that make any sense? How do we got everything we're behind 200 to 300 years? And he's right. He's only exactly and said we're not going to tolerate it no more. We don't need nobody to do nothing. We got African people with brains. And then, like you told, their economic, because they had their own reporters. What about the economic systems? Imagine he's only 37 now. How smart this man is at 37. He tell you he's that. What about the economic system? What about their capitalism and the? He said those are Europeans' economic systems. You mean to tell me we can't make up our own? Africa has been social. That's the bit I want to show with. I said Joe with video. You can't build your own economic. And that's what Ibn Torre said. Their capitalism, communism, that's their system, and none of that shit works because it's come from the minds of psychopaths. None of it works. So why you keep telling me about their system and me not use them? His press people. Don't you have to use what they say do in their system? He said, nah. Why can't we come up with our own system? Why can't we do it our own way? Why must we always be under their system? Go ahead, Joe.
Because they benefit through us. And it is sad.
Of course.
So long kept ignorant and not even we didn't have the ability to see how these people still come to Africa, and you call us shitty, you call us poor, you benefit from our poverty still. It's crazy. You benefit still from our poverty. You know, this it's like but you not only have you made people poor, the continent is not poor, the people are.
But that's even Torre said. He said they call us poor forever. Africa's not poor. Africa's not poor, exactly.
Use that to still make money. Like you talk about the evilness and the mindset. It's crazy. But this video explains literally how and why, exactly what we're talking about. Because we've had leaders who have tried as much as they could to save Africa, but there's always been that one bootlicker who was, white daddy, I can help you. This is how things are done here. You know, I'm gonna take you to the toilet, to the kitchen. You have all the chicken. These Negroes don't need to eat so long as you're okay. You know, there's always that one person. So this video basically explains how literally all the American presidents, because America, I love the fact he starts by saying America is one of the countries of preaching democracy on sovereignty, but it doesn't practice that. It is the number one.
No, they don't practice none of that shit.
Yeah, it's the number one contributor of war and destruction in the rest of the world.
The U.S. prides itself on being the champion of democracy, justice, and freedom, but the reality is far different from what it portrays. History has shown how the U.S. is all about protecting its interests, and it will do anything including suppressing other nations, inciting wars, and even carrying out assassination attacks to protect this interest. One region that has been the recipient of these U.S. policies is Africa. For decades, whenever people talk about the injustice suffered by Africa, all eyes point to Europe. While that is true, the fact is that the U.S. has also perpetrated a lot of injustice, all in a bid to protect its interest. This is why in this video, we will show you a chronicle of how some U.S. president has created chaos in the African continent. We are going to start with the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, who became the first ever U.S. president to order the assassination of a foreign leader. This foreign leader was none other than the first Prime Minister of Congo, the infamous Patrice Lumumba.
Wind blowing through the Belgian Congo, and down comes the Belgian flag in Leopoldville, a few days in fact in advance of independence. Elected as Prime Minister of the new Congo Republic, Mr. Patrice Lumumba receives congratulations from members of both Houses of Parliament.
It all began in June 1960 when Congo gained independence from Belgium's colonial rule. Unfortunately, within days, the African rank of the Congolese army mutinied due to the fact that despite independence, they remained under the leadership of a notorious Belgian leader, Emile Janssens. In response, Belgian troops landed in Katanga, a province in Congo notable for its rich mineral resources. The Belgians were welcomed by Tshombe, the most important and wealthy politician in the province, who Malcolm X once referred to as the worst African ever born. You see, Tshombe was a strong supporter of the Belgians and enjoyed the benefits that came with it. So, not only did he personally welcome the Belgian troops, but with their help declared...
It's always a boot-licking, no good, and that's what you had all throughout it, boot-licking, no good, filthy-ass niggas. That's what you always had, sellouts, We've had more sellouts in black people than any other race. I can honestly say that. Over and over again. That should have been bubble gum. I don't know what's wrong with the African. It's the African man. It's been the worst sellout in history. And I'm telling you, you always better know your circle. I know my circle. I'll get rid of your motherfucking ass in a minute. In a heartbeat, I'm getting rid of your ass. Because you cannot be trusted.
Sure.
An independent state, thereby throwing the newly formed Congo into chaos. Within months, Belgian troops in Katanga advanced towards the capital of Congo. They took over the airfields and gave Patrice Lumumba orders about where he was allowed to travel. In simple terms, Congo was in chaos. At first, Lumumba requested assistance in the form of international troops.
All because of the white man. All because of the white man wanted to keep his riches in that. He find some bootlicking, butt-dancing African fucking coon. Oh, yes, white daddy, you give me money too. Yeah, white daddy. And we'll got the masses. Destroy what we're trying to build in Africa and keep us impoverished. And today, nothing's changed in the Congo till today. Go ahead, Joe.
Exactly. So you can see the number one detected problem that he did, which we're trying to understand yesterday. What is it that Ibrahim Traore has understood in the all this era of revolution?
That's what they, exactly. That's what they asked. What Joe said. What they asked him, sorry, how will you stay alive? He said, I know what I'm doing. We make sure my security is tight. We make sure the people around us. Yes, we've learned, like Joe said, we've learned. He mentioned the Congo and what happened to old boy before him, Sankor, who got murdered by his best friend and took over. I killed my best friend, I'm president, and I got money. He gave me money. Remember, now he's flying everywhere. That goofy Blaise Compaoré dude. You better I give Joby credit. Joby does get rid of people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep you around. Like around me, but you're still not around me. Like, I don't give a shit about you. That's just it. But anyway, first number one detected problem we can see Patrice Lumumba did is calling for help from the international security for them to help them. That is the UN, the United Nations, who we know for so long they've been in Africa doing nothing. But of course,
they were there to they helped overthrow him. Because that UN was set up to keep African people poor. It's a con organization. It was set up to make sure that the Europeans kept stealing. It's their organization. You can't go to their organization and think they're going to help you. And also, Patrice Lumumba he didn't believe his best friend that Mobutu Sese Seko. He should have been, and everybody told him. And this is the problem. I'm sorry, because they say they told Sankor, African men, the people tell you, people plotting against you, that are your friends, you better learn to listen. They say, no, I don't believe that. You better start investigating. Because Seko was Patrice Lumumba's best friend, and people told him, he's working with white people. They're going to overthrow you. They're going to kill you. No, I don't believe that. They told Thomas and Tora that. Thomas, Blaise Compaoré, been working with the white people. He's planning to overthrow you. No, we grew up together. He grew up in my house, and our family fed him. That don't mean nothing. But people are jealous people are jealous. You better say, I don't fuck that friendship. You better investigate these niggas.
UN, which they provided. But it wasn't the help that Lumumba wanted. Instead of using the force to subdue Katanga and bring order into Congo, the leader of the UN force did nothing of such, thereby allowing Chombe's breakaway regime to further establish itself with Belgian help.
Of course, he was told to do nothing.
Entered Congo, they bypassed the capital where Lumumba was and went directly to Katanga to meet Chombe.
Exactly.
This made Lumumba angry and made him realize that the UN would not be of help. In desperation, he turned to the Soviets for help. They agreed, but their military force was meager. However, it was this decision that led to his assassination. How association with the Soviets angered the US, and they branded him a communist. In July 1960, Patrice Lumumba traveled to the
Patrice, Or you get all your lofty plans, and what really killed you when you talk shit, you told the truth about white people robbing, stealing. Son, shout out to you better build a real military, son. You better understand you must build real military power. That's why they keep Africans, don't build military, don't do this. That's what you're weak and fucked up. That's why all these terrorist groups are in Africa today, because there's no real military in Africa. Shout out to even Ture and that they said, we're going to build a military, a real one. There would be no African military on the continent that would be able to withstand us. And that's right. And that's why I say when you build it, when you get finally done, I'm telling you, invade these other African countries. Invade their ass. And take them over. I'm telling you, power don't ask, please. With power, I'm taking your punk ass over. No more division in Africa for me. I'm taking you over. I'm Shaka Zulu. When Shaka Zulu was in South Africa, taking over all the other tribes, he didn't say please. And that's the only reason why South Africa was still so long, because it was the Zulu nation that fought the white man. That was only because Shaka said, I don't give a shit about your tribe. You're going to become a Zulu or you'll die. Power. So I don't care about your group of tribe. You'll get down or you'll lay down. Go ahead, Joe.
U.S. in an attempt to seek help. However, the visit was a disaster. He was not well received according to diplomatic dictate, and most of the U.S. politicians regarded him as an erratic and unpredictable leader. Meanwhile, the CIA had already begun to raise concerns about communist influence. But from every indication, Lumumba was not a communist.
This was not about any communism.
In
that's the scandal. You put communism. All these economic systems were started by the cats. So they're all fake. So what about that? It's about this black man saying he was going to use African resources for African people. We're not going to be poor anymore. And he said, oh, and the white man and this bootlicking president here, Eisenhower, who was a fucking mulatto, another secret mulatto. Understand? Eisenhower was a fucking mulatto. You don't even know that. A mulatto. You go back into it and say this white man was a mulatto. That's a fact. Go back in his family history. Posing as a white man. This was a mulatto. So they said, Barack Obama's the first black president. That's a goddamn lie. This no good bastard here was a mulatto. So anyway, he authorized the CIA to go kill him because it's about white people, Joe. We said, it's about money, guys. White people being rich and you being poor. You go ahead, Joe.
During a cabinet meeting, President Eisenhower made the decision to remove Lumumba because he didn't want to offend Belgium, an ally of NATO. So the CIA set up a plan to assassinate Lumumba with the help of Chombe and the notorious Mobutu. Interestingly, the UN had no objections to his assassination. Within the next few months, Lumumba's assassination plan began to play out. His wife was denied access to medical care and gave birth prematurely to a daughter.
Interesting, the UN didn't have no problem with it. You know why? Because the UN is anti-African, moron. Go ahead, Joby.
Who died. He was arrested twice by Mobutu with the backing of the CIA. In January 1961,
Can you hear me, Kit? I don't know.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you, Joe. I guess you're in there, but yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay.
Mobutu flew a captive Lumumba to Katanga, where Chombe and his Belgian associate beat him for hours. By the time they were done, Chombe was covered with Lumumba's blood. Afterwards, Lumumba was driven to a remote area and murdered along with 2 members of his political party. After the men were dead, the killers poured sulfuric acid to dissolve the bodies. They did this to prevent it from becoming a symbol of resistance. What a tragic end for the enigmatic ruler. After his death, Congo was plunged into chaos and infighting for the next 4 years, until Mobutu took the reins of leadership with the support of the US and the UN. Mobutu went on to rule Congo ruthlessly for the next 3 decades. So not only did the US assassinate an African...
And in fact, the UN and all the other white people supported Mobutu because he was stealing his whole cabinet. Literally was the IMF and the World Bank. His cat, literally. I'm not saying he put puppets in to pretend they didn't even pretend with this puppet. The IMF and the World Bank ran the Congo. Ran it openly. So of course they didn't mind killing. So when Joby says they come back, they don't ever leave, Joe. Africa's the wealth of the world. Yep. They don't ever leave.
Leader,
they come back with new scams.
Also helped to install one that will go down in history as one of the most corrupt and ruthless African leaders.
The
next U.S. leader we want to talk about is Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was America's 37th president, and his African policy was shaped by Cold War geopolitics. This meant advocating for pro-Western stability at all costs. However, this policy directly harmed African nations fighting.
Yeah, Nixon said these Africans are stupid. They can't do nothing right, and they're childlike. They're nice and kind. But they are stupid and childlike.
For independence. Throughout his term, President Nixon provided support for pro-Western African leadership and crushed those who attempted to change things. In South Africa, the Nixon administration supported the white racist apartheid regime, providing both economic and diplomatic support. Before we proceed, here is a reminder to like this video, drop a comment,
white people know they're the same people. They didn't think it was tribal. Oh, those are different white people in South Africa, like the stupid nigga does. Oh, these are different people. The nigga does that. White people don't. White people know those are the same white people as them. They know that. You want to get a goofy nigga. Oh, you know, those are the South African people. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
The apartheid regime thrived. The forced removal of black South Africans from their homes and the oppressive rule of the white minority continued. President Nixon did this to ensure that South Africa remained an ally of the U.S. and that the U.S. had continued access to gold, diamond, and uranium reserves. But beyond South Africa, Nixon fully supported Mobutu's ruthless and dictatorial regime. Mobutu received massive financial and military aid from Nixon, which he used to oppress the people and enrich himself. Nixon also provided support for Portugal's brutal colonial rule in Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea-Bissau.
Because they America's always sponsored all the white people controlling black people. So Angola was controlled by the white man, Mozambique, same. And Portugal by that time was poor and backward. You got a poor, backward-ass cracker country. Poor and backward. Still controlling African nations. Can you imagine that? A poor, backward, fucked up country called Portugal controlling African giant wealthy countries. Because Portugal didn't make shit. Portugal is fucking impoverished. What is up real quick, Joe? But let me see let's see. What is the GDP of Portugal today? They've been poor. So you mean you got poor crackers running Africa? You can't imagine this. It's absolutely crazy. What's the GDP of Portugal, Joby?
It's 321 billion.
What is it?
321 billion US dollars.
321. It's poor. It's impoverished. So it means it was poor in Nigeria, poor in South Africa. I mean, you know, Nigeria used to be 400 billion. Even more than, so it's a poor ass country. They got a poor white country ruling Africa. Poor. But the white man says that's right. Even our poor crackers will run your stupid black asses. And it's still poor today. Impoverished. You got an impoverished white country talking about they got colonies in Africa. Colonies. They poor. But they got colonies in Africa? Fucking crazy. But go ahead, Joe.
Where African independent movements were crushed with U.S.-backed weapons and logistics.
Of course, by U.S.
In 1975, when Angola was on the verge of gaining independence from Portugal, Nixon's administration began to secretly fund and arm Jonas Savimbi's rebels, plunging Angola into a 27-year civil war.
Angola is
This
10
war
times
killed
richer than
thousands and
fucking.
left
Angola's 10. It was actually held no money. Angola's 10. This one, Angola's 10 times wealthier than fucking poor ass Portugal. 10 times wealthier than a fucking country. But Portugal is the colonial master of Angola. You can't even make this crazy shit up. Go ahead, Joe.
Angola in ruins for years. President Nixon did this simply to counter the Soviet Union's influence. So it can be rightly concluded that President Nixon chose to support dictators over true democracy in Africa.
I told you, pause it. See, this is phony. Because we know the Rothschilds control the Soviet Union and they control America. So they're not fighting against each other. That's the scam. That's the scam. I kept it so it wouldn't fall into the hands of the Soviets. It's a scam. Because the Soviet Union was created by the Rothschild family. America is controlled by the Rothschild family. So what the fuck are they talking? See, they always play this fake kabuki theater shit. It's to make sure African people stay poor and have a fake excuse. It's the Hegelian dialectic played out right in your face. Go ahead, Joe.
Now, just like President Nixon, the next president on this list openly supported the apartheid regime in South Africa. We are talking about America's 40th president, Ronald Reagan. He followed the footsteps of his predecessor, President Nixon, in supporting the apartheid regime in South Africa and the rebel forces in Angola. In South Africa, Reagan defended the racist white minority and even referred to Nelson Mandela and the ANC party as terrorists. Reagan's administration called this policy towards South Africa.
The black people are terrorists. The black people are terrorists.
They maintain support,
trying to get their land back, but the white man who's killing them, robbing them, they're all wicked. That's why I wanted to talk with you yesterday. They all have demonic energy. This is a demon you're looking at. You think you're looking at a human being, you're not. This is a demonic entity. This is a demon. And I mean that literally. This is a demon. Go ahead, Joe.
For the regime under the excuse of maintaining stability and countering Soviet influence. In Angola, Reagan continued to provide military support for the UNITA rebel group responsible for committing mass atrocities, including massacres and the use of child soldiers. Under Reagan, the CIA funnels funds and weapons to the rebels in a war that lasted until 2002 and led to the death of over 500,000 Angolas. The rebels targeted schools and hospitals and left millions displaced from their homes. In Mozambique, Reagan supported the notorious Renamo insurgents who terrorized civilians. They beheaded, raped, and engaged in mass killings. The Renamo insurgents were used as a tool to weaken the socialist government of Mozambique, which had an alliance with the Soviets. This insurgency led to the death of over 1 million people and many more displaced. Finally, it was Reagan's administration that set the groundwork for the establishment of the U.S. military presence in Africa with the establishment of several military bases.
And remember,
these bases, though portrayed as U.S. efforts toward
and is this no good puppet cracker that started destroying the United States? Yeah, you racists love this no good dirty bastard. I'm glad you love his ass. Because now you knowing he's the one that fucking sold the country out. He's the one that destroyed you. That's why you're poor. That's why your stomach is touching your motherfucking backbone. Because it's no good, dirty, racist ass bastard. That's why your stomach is touching your backbone. You better go back and research all the policies that you're living under because you're no good, racist motherfucker here. This fucking Reagan, this racist ass bastard. Go ahead, Joby.
Terrorism, in reality, was created to protect U.S. interests in Africa.
The
42nd U.S. President, Bill Clinton, took after his predecessors in causing chaos in the African continent. One such instance was his refusal to intervene during the 1994 Rwanda genocide. The Rwandan genocide led to the death of about 800 to 1 million Tutsi in just 100
over a million. And it wasn't that. It was Kagame, sponsored by the CIA, because they wanted to get power. They was never going to get power in Rwanda because the majority black Hutu controlled it. Paul Kagame, punk ass, was never going to be a president, never going to have any power. Him and Gupi Museveni, Museveni in power 8 years before that in Uganda, who would have never got power in Uganda. The CIA put Museveni retarded ass in there, and they put Kagame ass in there. That's what happened. So they allowed 1 million people to be murdered because they were Africans. And they said, fuck them. We want those resources in the Congo. Fuck these niggas. They're dumb. Let them die. They're stupid. Let them go worship the Jesus or Allah or whatever dumbass religion we gave them. To keep our foot on their goddamn necks. Go ahead, Joby.
The interesting thing is that the U.S. government had intelligence on the escalating violence even before the mass killings escalated.
Yes, because they started.
Intelligence reports obtained using the U.S. Freedom of Information.
The interesting thing that the U.S. knew what was going to happen, that they were going to start murdering people before. That's not interesting because they the ones behind the shit. They ain't this kind of group of people. They're the ones behind it. They put Kagame there to do what he does. But I want Joby to be quiet when she goes Rwanda in December. Don't say shit about it. Just be quiet. Go ahead.
I'll try. I'll really try my level best.
Act showed the cabinet and almost certainly the president had been told of a planned final solution to eliminate all Tutsis before the slaughter reached its peak. But that's not all. Clinton's administration also blocked all efforts to send international peacekeeping efforts. In fact, Clinton ordered the United Nations to withdraw its troops, giving the genocidal militias free rein to commit massacres. Later, the U.S. would say that the reason the administration did not intervene was because they did not want to repeat the fiasco of U.S. intervention in Somalia, where U.S. troops became sucked into fighting. But that was far from the truth. The truth was that the Clinton administration had no interest in Rwanda, a small Central African country with no minerals or strategic value. So, there were no valuable resources for the U.S. to exploit. As such, the U.S. decided not to intervene. 4 years after this, the Clinton administration intervened in Sudan in 1998. This was after the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania were attacked by terrorists. In response to these attacks, Clinton ordered a missile strike on a pharmaceutical company in Khartoum.
This is not a problem. This is all fake. There are no terrorist organizations sophisticated enough to get into Kenya and Tanzania and blow up embassies. CIA did that. CIA Mossad. They did that. So they can blow up and do whatever the fuck the shit they want to do in the Sudan and split it up. It's always a fake story. And the terrorists will blow up Kenya and blow up Tanzania. You out of your fucking mind? Are you a moron? You think it's some terrorist group that was sophisticated enough, that have money enough to get into the embassy in America and the Kenya blow it up? No, because they did it. These are narratives that they use to keep this shit going so they can control African resources. These are demons. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so I'm just going to stop it at that and then share the... Which one do you want me to share? The two videos or...
The last one I sent you. Okay. The other one I said you was talking about some other black girl got killed by some other white man again. So you see this? They got killed again, and each time they kill them, our women would still go with another white man and never blame him because he chopped her up or something, put her in the attic. He killed some black woman and some young girl, she's like 28, chopped her ass up. I mean, put her in the attic or some shit. Now this is the white man telling the truth about the economic system. All the they would say, oh, you're not capital, you believe in communism? I don't believe in none of your systems. Those are your systems. As if I got to believe in one.
Always look amazing.
Go ahead, Joe.
Have you ever noticed how all of their hotels always look amazing in the lobbies, but the rooms are always a letdown? Well, that's Europe. Shabby. That's the West. It's all dressing, no meal. It's like the difference between a farmer and someone who just shoplifts produce from the grocery store. They're not equal. Someone who just takes is not like someone who earns. There's a difference, you know? Someone who uses is not like someone who creates. They're not the same in terms of their development. Mentally, spiritually, intellectually, psychologically, in every other kind of way. They're not the same. See, when the West talks about development, when they use the word development, they're only ever talking about material development, economic development, and so on. You know, because they have to talk about that. That's the only kind of development that they can talk about, because they can't talk about moral development, spiritual development, or intellectual development. And because their material development was only acquired through immoral, anti-spiritual, brutish means. But if we're going to talk about cultural, moral, philosophical, intellectual, actual civilizational advancement as the criteria for the term development, well, then the West would be classified as the undeveloped world. Not even as the developing world. They're straight up undeveloped. I mean, if this was the actual basis for the categorization of first world and third world, well, then the so-called first world and the so-called third world would switch places. The West is the third world in terms of every metric of human development besides the superficial. And as I've talked about many times, even economically, there are large swaths of the populations in the West that are living in so-called third world material conditions as it is. And why is that? Why are they living like that? Because they never developed or civilized. It's an undeveloped collective society and culture, Western society, Western culture. It's underdeveloped. I mean, if the only way that you can win a race, for example, is by hobbling every other competitor, well, how fast can you really run? You see what I mean? If you need your opponent to have 2 broken legs and have his hands tied behind his back, well, what kind of a champion boxer are you? If you have to deny the cultural, intellectual, moral, and civilizational achievements of others in order for anyone to believe that your so-called civilization is great, well, how great can it really be? If the truth about you was really that wonderful, why would you have to concoct such fantastical lies about everyone else? About the Muslims, about China, about Africa, and so on. If you were so great, well, you wouldn't have to divide and conquer the people. You'd be welcomed. No one would try to drive you out. They would plead for you to stay. But we all know that nobody ever wanted you around. You understand what I'm saying? This is because you are underdeveloped as a people. You're undeveloped as a people. You don't bring civilization, you suppress civilization. And I'm not saying this for the purpose of berating you, but I know that's how you'll take it. I'm not trying to pick on you. I know that's how you'll feel. I'm telling you this to explain why what is happening now is happening, and why Europe is moving in the direction that it is, and why it is on an irreversible downward trajectory, and the entirety of the West is on that same trajectory, including the United States. And this is the reason. Because you never developed, you never civilized. Like I said, if you anthropomorphize the collective West as an individual man, and that man acted the way that the West has acted and is acting right now, well, no one in the world will regard that man as civilized, or as sophisticated, or as an intelligent human being. Think about it. He's a lying, abusive, violent fraud. He mistreats his own family. He never keeps his word. He doesn't believe in anything. He has no beliefs. He's greedy, he's frivolous, and he's petty. He's insecure, cowardly, toxic, crude, and unhygienic.
And they still don't wash their filthy asses today. Sorry, Ayrton, that's your friend. They're unhygienic today. Yeah, so when I told Ayrton that a long time ago, no, I don't believe that. Well, it's the truth, whether you like it or not. Not my fault. Ayrton, that they don't wash their ass. It ain't my fault.
Us, much less take him as a mentor or a role model. He's a vicious criminal who doesn't even have the guts to own up to what he's done. So, I mean, is it really a surprise to anyone that this approach to life does not lead to long-term success? Can anyone really be surprised that someone like this meets a humiliating end? No. It couldn't be any other way.
Yeah, that's the end of it. It's crazy. Keith is such a bully. Keith. Oh my God. If you watch
Hey, You're trying in the back making one of them goofy inspirational videos. Ain't she? Ain't she in the back somewhere?
And she's at the back.
Yeah,
And
so she don't hear me. Exactly. So she don't know what I'm saying. Shit. She making one of them goofy inspirational videos. Hey family, be your best person. You know, don't get mad when people say nothing about you. Be your best person and jump in a river.
shout out to Ansanke, shout out to Jiba Jaba, Karibu Sana. Hope you guys are having a good day. Say we are the same tribe. And I also see Jiba Jaba says a show on Ninox would be a good one. Ninox is a streaming app. I don't know if that is a streaming platform, maybe. But I also see Jiba Jaba says Reagan would be a good one too. Failed Hollywood actor was governor and press. And he also asked that the steel industry collapsed under Reagan, adding that will just we will just op We'll just appeal to the UN to get Joby released from Rwanda. Free Joby. That's what's up, man. Shout out to Kagame. I hope you will let me go. But I also see says it is so bad. It is so bad. A local high school is offering dinner after school for students. It is primarily white district, and
Well, that's in Pennsylvania somewhere. Yeah, people are hungry. Exactly. That's why I don't want to be talking about Nova because I see it. People, I know it's rough out here. I go everywhere. Joby, hey, I was listening to Joby. I was looking at a show on the network. And said, you go to these places, why you never show these homeless people? Should I have to show them, Joby? Should I show this kind of misery?
nice. I never hear you mention it. So, and the fact that you go around most of the places. So maybe you'll be spotting them on the road, maybe something like that. But anyway.
I spot them, but what should I do? Should I do poverty porn too, Joby? Look at these poor dirty bastards right here.
Yeah, send us the picture. Let us know how America is a shithole. Show us because they have shown you how Africa is a shithole and it's not a shithole. But wrap it up there with today's conversation. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day. But of course, I'll be coming back with Kamlesh with that is reaction time, of course, in an hour's time, literally now. But have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful rest part of your morning. Remember to download our app if you haven't. Kindly hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if it is your first time. And of course, remember tonight we have the culture show. So in case you want to listen to amazing music, I'm literally here just teaching myself how to DJ right now. I'm holding this DJ thing here. I'm just like trying to learn some few things and become a professional DJ. And now from henceforth, you're gonna call me DJ.
It took you long enough. Why all of a sudden now?
No, I've always been practicing, but there's a deck I use like online which teaches me to see exactly what I'm handling here and here. So I just I've been doing it. I don't need to.
Okay. So we're gonna see some of your skills tonight.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. But yeah,
that'd be nice. That'd be nice to incorporate the skills so we can partake in the glory of what is Joby, what is Joby.
See you guys later and have a
Salutations, everyone. Here is Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all my brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning in to